MP Sarah Westcott Williams stepping into action to assist with school materials. Interview with Parveen Borchi of SXM. Many people in St. Martin may not know that they are actually tied to energy benefits. The minister's portfolios. Patrice Gums, the ministry would also begin to clean up. Dr. Luc Mercelina, Prime Minister of General Affairs, on the update NVGB. From the island of St. Martin, this is SXM Daily News for August 13th, 2026. Sarah Westcott Williams, President of Parliament, speaking on the floor of Parliament, August 13th, 2026. Like we have seen and experienced in past years, this year, without exception, in terms of persons, individuals, organizations, and even teachers themselves, and stepping into action to assist with school materials, seen where teachers have taken it upon themselves to solicit the assistance of persons in the community, for example, order materials for their respective. MP Sarah Westcott explains.
Madam Chair Lady, like we have seen and experienced in past years, this year was no exception in terms of persons, individuals, organizations, and even teachers themselves springing into action to assist with school material. We have seen where teachers have taken it upon themselves to solicit the assistance of persons in the community to, for example, order material for their respective classrooms. This is not your regular pen, pencil, and copybook. It is material that these teachers feel are necessary to enhance the learning environment of our students. And thus, not only have I and I continue to assist teachers in this regard, but I also want to commend all the persons who have been engaged in different activities towards making the school year a better one for our students, our teachers, and our parents. I bring this up now, Madam Chair Lady, because like I stated publicly some time ago, I want to repeat it here and let the population know that it is my intention to solicit from the Minister of Finance an advice about making certain designated donations and charities more tax deductible friendly than they are right now. I believe if you have a person on St. Martin who of low, medium, or high income, but feels the need to contribute to causes such as education, sports, and I could name a next few, I believe we need to review our tax legislation to make these type of donations more attractive where it comes to our tax system. So, in fact, the letter has been already sent to the Minister of Finance in this context, and I just wanted to mention it here. I also want to refer to a discussion that has recently started here on social media by persons of St. Martin, and I think I can mention the one who I saw it brought forward firstly. I'm sure she would not have an issue with that, and that is Miss Lake. And it has to do with the position of informal caregivers on St. Martin. And I want Ms. Lake and the others who have joined this discussion on St. Martin to know that the matter of unpaid care work is something that the Parliament of St. Martin, along with other parliaments in the region, have identified that is an issue that needs to be formalized. So in other words, of course, we have our professional and paid caregivers, but it has been established, it has been researched that there is a lot of caregiving in the informal sector. Children taking care of parents, parents of children, family members of their family members. I just want Ms. Lake in particular and the others who have joined this discussion to know that looking at the status of informal caregivers is something that this parliament is cognizant of and is part of our agenda going forward to look at it, and like others are doing as well, see how we too can formalize the position of unpaid caregivers, informal caregivers, so to speak.
Reporter asks Melissa Gums, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport. Even leverage, let's say, over the schools in terms of how they're executing, and then the private schools, even the teachers, aren't even required to be licensed. Teachers, you're managing the educational output for St. Martin, yet as a ministry, you have very limited tools.
So that's addressing 5 decades worth of habit and cultural norms. I've shared my views on how we've structured our education system in St. Martin. It's not something that can be fixed in 4 years. To be honest, it's pretty much, we're looking at a generational transition to actually regulate a lot of what has been decided in the past and become regular practice in education. So I think what I can say is that the subsidized school boards from a primary level have been willing to look at the FBE review. They've all received the report. And then as we move forward with teacher retraining and seeing what adjustments need to be made, I think they'll be cooperative with that, because ultimately as well with the supervision of education law, which should be in its final stages of review to be able to go to Parliament, their funding is count, and I think that has been the focus. However, if we look around, even if the EGMA results, there are instances where public school outperformed subsidized education. So that's also something that needs to be taken into consideration. I think the perception is that, public education is on the lesser end, but ultimately you're seeing that funding everywhere is not leading to the outcomes that we want to see.
Dr. Luke Mercelina, Prime Minister of General Affairs, on the update, NVGEB development will for sure make a difference in the dollars that will be paid ultimately by the consumers. We did not do that. And on the other side, as you said, we neglected even the fossil fuel operation of our standard generators. So we have 2 challenges. The first one is we have to guarantee a base sustainability of energy supply to the community. Prime Minister said at the Compress briefing on Wednesday,
development will for sure make a difference in the tariffs that will be paid ultimately by the consumers. We did not do that. And on the other side, as you said, we neglected even the fossil fuel operation of our standard generators. So we have 2 challenges. The first one is we have to guarantee a base sustainability of energy supply to the community. For that is the reason for only that guarantee. We had no other choice than to see how we can replace those old generators that are between 25 to 30 years, by the way, before we can talk about sustainability on the long term with alternative green energy. We do not have the alternative green energy yet, and we have no stability of the grid with the old generators, but we have to first work on sustainability of the grid. And the moment we have sustainability of the grid with the new generators, we can then have the courage to start with the alternative green energy. We are far enough in the negotiations with the preferred supplier that we chose for, and we are now in the phase that the preferred supplier is only demanding a bank comfort letter from government and from GEBE. As you know, I have safeguarded 42 million in cooperation with the assistance of my Council of Ministers and, of course, negotiations with the Netherlands for an amount of 42 million US dollars. That's the first part. But in the time, the prices went up with the war that came, the Ukraine war we had first, but then now, so that 42 million will not be enough to purchase three being banks to see if they can get the additional loan, and in this case, it's about 28 million additional to actually make sure that we have the amount necessary for the purchase of the generators. From the side of the bank, we have already our comfort letter ready. We proposed that to the preferred supplier. Their reaction was, please wait with handing over this comfort letter until you have the one of GB2, and then we're going to fuse them together to present them to the preferred supplier. We are just waiting now on the comfort letter of GB, and once we have this comfort letter, the next step is just some details to make sure that we can press the button for the ultimate deal to purchase the generators. So actually we are very, very ready. We are now in the phase of comfort letters to the preferred supplier to purchase the generators. The amount of money that GEBE is negotiating for the additional 28 millions is, of course, a portion of that is to add to the 42 million to purchase the 3 generators as we decided we would do in the beginning. Secondly, that amount is also for us to start working on a own national fuel farm for St. Martin. That is also going to contribute to the expenses by the production of energy for the country if our GEBE could have its own fuel farm with their own tanks. And thirdly, a share of that 28 million is also going to be used for the further development of alternative green energy. And next to that, a small portion is also going to be used to start preparing the plant for once the generators arrive. Actually, the base infrastructure is there to install the 3 generators. So it's about the fuel farm, it's about the preparations for the ordered generators, and it's also about actually starting with alternative green energy, and in this case, the solar panel project that we have. That is the update that I have for you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Just for clarity, the 28 million is dollars or
$28 million.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
Now You Know with Valerie Van Putten, an interview with Parveen Bhurtia, Chief Social Insurance Officer at SCV. Many people in St. Martin may not know that they are actually tied to energy benefits. How does someone find out whether they qualify for SCV, service, or social benefits? What should they do first? So I think it's important that we stand still for a moment. What the Ezra tree actually is. So, the SFC, the Social and Health Insurance of St. Martin, is the social safety of SCV.
Board Chair, many people on St. Martin may not know that they are actually entitled to SZV benefits. How does someone find out whether they qualify for an SZV insurance or social benefits? What should they do first?
Okay, so I think it's important that we stand still for a moment what the SZV actually is. So the SZV, the Social and Health Insurance of St. Martin, is a social safety net. That means that we provide services the moment you are in need. And the moment you are in need can also be when you reach the pensionable age, for example, and you need an addition to your income. That's where we have the AOV, the old age pension. It can also be when your spouse passes away and you need some financial support to make ends meet. And that is where we have the widows and orphanage pensions. A moment in need is also when you have healthcare needs.
Issues,
And issues, and then of course you need to pay for the healthcare. Those are expenses that nobody really can pay out of pocket, and that's why we all save during our time that we work. You pay your premiums. The premiums go into a big pot, big funds, and whenever we as contributors need it, that's when the SZV will pay on your behalf. It's the monies that we all save together. So it's a social safety net. When do you need it most? It depends on the age that you have. It depends on your income situation. It also depends on your residency status. So in the event you have more questions or you want to know if you are entitled to any service of SZV, I really would like to encourage everyone to contact us and always have your date of birth at hand, because with that we can check where
I realized that.
exactly whatever service it is that we can help you with. Date of birth, your full name, and we can really assist you from there.
Partial, if they don't qualify for full benefits, would you provide partial benefits?
It
to the
all
recipient?
depends. It all depends. And if I may use an example for, let's say, the pension benefit. The pension benefit is tied to the amount of years that you have contributed. Now, it can happen that you did not contribute to all for the full period of time because maybe you accepted a job outside of the island and later you migrated back to St. Martin and you continued working here. So you might not get your full pension benefit, but based on the amounts of years that you worked here on island, you will get a partial pension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. After COVID hit, I know SZV was one of the first ones to start going online.
Yes.
To get the services going. Now, you launched. You had at one point, as if you had cut off, so everything you had to be done online. And I ran into many seniors who complained.
Yes.
Either they did not have a computer at home, and if they did, they didn't know how to use it. You know, there were just many obstacles that they were facing. So I understand now that I think you heard their cries as well. So you launched the Senior Priority Hours in late January 2026, which is this year, and the first quarter results were very positive. So I'm sure you had a lot of people knocking at the doors. Over 4,400 in-person visits, an average wait time of 17 minutes, and strong client satisfaction. What does that tell you about what seniors in our community actually need from SZV?
Yes. So indeed, we have launched the Senior Priority Hours, which is an upgrade of our in-person service. I must correct you, if I may, Valerie. SZV was never closed completely. We did emphasize the need to make appointments. So currently, with the Senior Priority Hours, you don't need an appointment for that. You come in, you visit us.
Is it specific hours that they come in?
Yes, so then we have senior priority hours on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that is where you can come in the morning hours and have that whatever question you have, you can visit SZV and ask that question. However, if for any reason you are not able to make it on those days, it is also an opportunity for people to come in on other days. However, waiting times can be longer because we have different services that we provide to the people of Sint Maarten, and we really try to focus on helping the seniors on those specific days. It is important to say here to you that what we realized with the in-person service is that seniors really appreciate that one-on-one contact. So to have the opportunity to ask a follow-up question, or maybe there is something that they want clarification on, and they don't feel really comfortable saying that over the phone. They want to speak to a person. So we really cater to that need. And on the other hand, you have people who are very comfortable by picking up the phone, calling. They have not the opportunity to visit us in person. So the telephone lines are also open. And for those seniors that feel comfortable with using the computer, that email opportunity is also still there. So we really have in-person, telephone, and email.
You have services across the board.
Services across the board, yes.
The minister's portfolios. Patrice Gums. The ministry would also begin to clean up, including roads and greenery, as part of its wider hurricane preparations. Where possible, this will happen simultaneously with the removal of abandoned and wrecked vehicles. The public is asked to facilitate both ministries, enforcement personnel, and contractors over the course of the next few weeks, the minister said at the Compress briefing on Wednesday.
The ministry will also begin its cleanup, inclusive of roads and greenery, as part of its wider hurricane preparations. Where possible, this will happen simultaneously to the removal of abandoned and wrecked vehicles. The public is asked to facilitate both ministries, enforcement personnel, and contractors over the course of the next few weeks. As a reminder, the public landfill remains free of charge. And if you have missed the designated time of your hauler, especially for bulky items including couches, fridges, stoves, please don't dispose of these on the roadside or at the side of the bin. Access to the landfill, as stated, remains free. Make the effort to bring it to the public landfill. Every effort made means less trash on the sides of the roads and a cleaner Sint Maarten. Remember, it takes all of us. Now, I'd like to turn to some more general updates. I'm reminding all interested parties that this coming Monday, August 17th, is also the closing date to submit your bids for the drainage study tender for Coal Bay. This is the ministry's efforts to address stormwater management in the Coal Bay area and will be carried out in two phases, the first being the study and the second phase the execution of the works. Regarding stormwater pumps, as stated, the first pump has been installed in Star Garden, and the second pump in the Vrummy yard is currently being installed. We are very much on schedule, and the pumps will be ready to manage stormwater-related incidences, which is critical as we enter into peak hurricane season. Next week, I'll provide further information and updates as to the beginning of the trials and tests. Finally, over the past 3 weeks, the Ministry of Vrummy has been carrying out house visits in the district of Dutch Quarter. This is in connection to the project, the 10th EDF Household Connections, to connect households to the main sewage network along the main road towards connecting persons to sewage lines at the wastewater treatment plant on 8 Tailed Road. Persons are kindly asked to facilitate as the Ministry of Vrummy continues its last and final week, this coming weekend, Saturday 8 to 12, with household visits. Persons will be given a brief explanation of the project and be provided an agreement to which they have to sign once Vrummy returns at the start of the project within the course of its coming months.
Now the local weather forecast tonight through Friday midday. Warm, hazy, and breezy with isolated showers. Surface winds. Tonight through Friday midday. East to southeast with a gentle to moderate breeze at 12 to 17, Menampa and higher gusts. Sea conditions, sheltered areas, swimmers, open waters, small craft operators, state, smooth to slight to moderate waves, swells, below third, 3 off or 5. Outlook through Saturday midday, variably cloudy, hazy, and breezy with isolated showers. And now, 3-day weather forecast.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
A new school year brings new lessons, opportunities, and a fresh chance to learn, discover, and grow. For the 2026-2027 school year, the St. Martin Library is welcoming students, parents, caregivers, and educators with a special back-to-school free book return initiative taking place from Monday, August 17 through Saturday, August 26, 2026 at the library. During this period, library members can return overdue books free of penalties, making it easier to start the new school year with a clean slate, set new goals, discover new interests, and dream bigger. The St. Martin Library encourages all students to make reading and library visits part of their regular school routine. Whether students need books for homework and research, want to discover new stories and authors, explore different subjects, or simply find a quiet place to study, the library provides resources to support learning throughout the school year. Children and youth ages 0-18 continue to enjoy free library membership, helping ensure that every child has access to books, information, and learning opportunities. There is more good news for families across St. Martin. The library's satellite locations in Cahill and Belvedere will reopen on Tuesday, September 1st, 2026, providing students and families with greater access to library services as the new school year gets underway. Together with the main location in Phillipsburg, the Cahill and Belvedere libraries help bring books, learning, information, and opportunities closer to communities across the island. Your new chapter starts at the St. Martin Library, as you are invited to begin the 2026-2027 school year by turning the page, literally and figuratively. Bring back that overdue book, reconnect with the library, discover something new, and make reading part of your journey this school year.
This is our SXM Daily Newscast. Thank you for joining us.